That's right, leading to the institution's indefinite closure. Investigations into the cause of the fire are, of course, still ongoing. Let's listen into that report.
It was chaos and confusion at Buhalalire Boys High School after a fire broke out in one of the school dormitories on Sunday night, leaving 6 students with injuries and more than 200 others without a place to sleep.
I want to thank those who came during those hours, the wee hours of the night, right from 1 a.m. to assist the school. One of which is a neighbor who is a former MCA. He came and this has helped quite a number of you.
According to the Butula Sub-County Director of Education, John Kemei, all students were ordered to leave the school until further notice. A decision was made by the school's Board of Management to release the students and promised to communicate the date of their return in due course.
We have assessed the situation and we have found out that it's no longer tenable for you to continue being in school. We want to give you a break so that you go and relax a bit, but don't forget the books.
The cause of the fire tragedy remains unknown. However, investigative agencies have been put on alert to probe the recurring fire incidents at the institution.
Tunawaweka kwa maombi na jinsi tulifanya mwaka jana, tulikuja tukasimama na nyinyi, tumekuja hapa tumeangalia na tunarudi kumweleza Mheshimiwa Gavana yale tumeona hapa, ndio kama county government tuweze kuleta usaidizi wetu hapa.
Christine Matunda for Prime Edition.
Let's now head to Kisumu.
And Kenyans have been urged to utilize the tribunal's shared services centers, both in Kisumu and Nairobi, Kenya, to expedite access to justice.
Chief Justice Martha Koome says the judiciary is committed to expanding access to justice and delivery mechanisms by adopting efficient alternative justice system to serve Kenyans better.
This is demonstrated by the launch of the Tribunal's Shared Services Center in Kisumu, as Weekly for Cage reports.
To expand access to justice, the judiciary is decentralizing the Tribunal's Shared Services Centers to the counties. On Monday, Chief Justice Martha Koome presided over the launch of a similar center in Kisumu, saying the move will offer locals expedited access to justice.
Article 159 of the Constitution of Kenya affirms that the judicial authority is vested in the courts and tribunals and commands these institutions to administer justice to all. This constitutional command drives our pursuit of inclusive and equitable justice through multiple doors, including tribunals.
While highlighting the transformative steps the judiciary has taken to ensure timely delivery of justice to Kenyans, Koome urged Kenyans, especially the vulnerable populations, to utilize the tribunals as a supplement to the regular courts.
The fruits of this decentralization of tribunal services include expeditious service delivery and dignity in dispute resolution, which must be felt in every village, town, and city across our country.
The Chief Justice decried inadequate resources but committed to overseeing the expansion of the justice system by adopting innovative measures, a statement echoed by Supreme Court Judge Justice William Ouko, who also urged judicial officers to uphold utmost integrity while discharging their mandate.
Justice needs to be experienced from our homes, from our communities, from our places of work, because we want a society that respects one another. What I want to be done unto me is what should be done unto my brother.
The time has come for us to talk about this, whether perceived or real. Do we have corrupt practices in the courts? What is the point of hearing a case within 2 days or even the same day when parties leave your court still grumbling that justice has been bought? And so, my lady, we have to keep talking about this and to talk about it very, very frankly.
Since its establishment 3 weeks ago, the Kisumu Tribunal's Shared Services Center has served over 250 Kenyans in at least 73 cases filed. For Prime Edition from Kisumu County, I am Wycliffe Okech.
Many thanks, Okech, there. Now let's move on to our next item.
Small-scale farmers will also be required to file their returns by the end of June.
The small-scale farmers are now categorized under the micro and small taxpayers.
The second leg of the countrywide campaign conducted by KRA and its media partner, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, kicked off on Monday, targeting the eastern part of Kenya with stops in Embu Town, Manyata, Runyenjes, Siakago, Kiritiri in Embu County, where hundreds of taxpayers came out to update their records with the taxman.
Now, the Amnesty campaign, a product of amendments to the Tax Procedures Act, seeks to encourage compliance, to relieve taxpayers of historical penalties, and also to support revenue collection.
With Amnesty on accrued interest and penalties, KRA is encouraging taxpayers with outstanding principal taxes to pay upfront or seek a payment plan.
Emphasizing to taxpayers in our region, in Embu, to take up the tax amnesty that has been provided by the Kenya Revenue Authority. And with the tax amnesty, we are calling upon all taxpayers in Embu, including students, business people, small and medium, and also the large taxpayers, as well as farmers, especially the ones who've now started, who've been included, whether you're getting an income from tea, miraa, mogoka, macadamia, you're required to declare that income.
From issues around tax now to Health Watch. And stigma has been cited as one of the biggest barriers to effective epilepsy treatment.
Speaking at an engagement forum in Nairobi, the Chief Executive Officer, Kenya Association for the Welfare of People with Epilepsy, pointed out that discrimination has made many patients opt for traditional healers.
That's right. Experts now say that open conversation, community support, as well as public education are key in changing mindsets. Why? To improve access to care for patients. Doreen Arange is the one who filed this report.
Marked by sudden recurring seizures caused by abnormal activity in the brain continues to be stigmatized.
One of the problems with epilepsy is that people always think epilepsy is very expensive to treat. The drugs are expensive. It is not true. Society carries a very big stigma, and that is the reason why people, about 70 to 80% of people who suffer from epilepsy do not access appropriate treatment.
It is against this backdrop that key stakeholders, including medical experts, epilepsy advocates, and community leaders, did a pilot program, Kenya Stigma Campaign, in 2024 across 5 counties, namely Kilifi, Nyandarua, Kiambu, Kisii, and Kitui.
We were identifying the rural counties because of that aspect of awareness. We selected a county like Kisii. In such rural setups, a man with epilepsy can find help through being given a wife who can take care of him. But when a woman with epilepsy tries to get married, it's a challenge.
CEO Kawe Patrick Ngeshu says the pilot project revealed a staggering 80% treatment gap owing to stigma, with women bearing the brunt.
80% treatment gap in Kenya. So out of 10 people, only 2 have access to healthcare, and the other 8 go to traditional healers and to pastors to be prayed.
While data gaps remain, experts hope the program can be expanded to other counties for better care and resource allocation.
Healthcare, government stop seeing it as a place where you throw money, but as a place where you're investing so that these people can be able to be productive.
With approximately 1 million Kenyans accounting for 2% of Kenyans living with epilepsy, stakeholders opine that empowering patients to share their experiences and sensitizing communities to offer support will be vital in tackling stigma. Doreen Arange for Prime Edition.
Because epilepsy has been misunderstood for a very long time because of those myths and misconceptions around it. It's exactly 90 minutes past the top of the hour. Time for our first break here on Prime Edition.
When we return, we'll be giving you more details, including business and sports, with the clarity you deserve. Stay with us.
They say the art without art would just be, get it? We circumnavigate the globe and traverse the local scene to bring you art and culture at their very best. From fine art, culinary art, performing arts, and even cultural events, you name it, and we have got you covered. My name is Kevin Kasioki, and I will be serving you this and much, much more each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya.
Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all.
We dive deep into issues shaping our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday.
We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health.
Someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about The Viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment. Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good Morning Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good Morning Kenya. Every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back to Prime Edition. Many thanks indeed for choosing this station.
Our socials at KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook and YouTube. On to another development, Tom, tonight.
That's right. The Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims are tonight expressing confidence in the nominees to head the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC.
SUPKEM, however, took issue with what it termed as toxic political rhetoric on the process, urging critics to allow due course to be followed.
Everyone is actually a Kenyan. He has the right, and if that person has qualifications and has been considered, cannot be disqualified by the virtue of being related to so and so.
Panel imechaguliwa haina utata wowote, na panel wamewachagua watu tena on regional balance, ambapo kwamba imekwenda kila mahali. Kwa hivyo waacha ende bunge, kisha president afanye kazi yake ili tuondoe ili jahazi.
we had a moment when we were off there. On to your favorite weekly program, The Cabinet.
And this one we highlighted at the beginning of the broadcast.
That's right.
After serving in the military for 44 years, part of which as the Chief of General Staff, Jackson Mulinge ventured into politics, joining Parliament and the Cabinet.
He is our focus tonight on this week's edition of The Cabinet.
That's right. From the Cabinet to the Council of Governors.
And the National Heroes Council and the Council of Governors will roll out an identification program for heroes and heroines in the counties in a bid to recognize and also to honor them in their respective regions.
Here is that report as compiled by Adan Ibrahim.
On Monday morning, the National Heroes Council, led by the Chief Executive Officer Charles Wambia, paid a courtesy call at the Council of Governors office in Nairobi to help identify and honor heroes and heroines in their respective regions.
When these two institutions work together, because under Section 16 of Kenya Heroes Act,
It provides for that unity of working together with matters of persons nominated as heroes, working together with the county government. There's no better place to start it from rather than coming to the COG, give us the blessing, and also forging a way when now the COG chair will have a proper meeting with my chairman.
Today's heroes are not necessarily those who are in the politics of things. Heroism now ought to be about service delivery. It ought to be about the people who go the extra mile in saving lives.
The Council of Governors Chair Ahmed Abdullahi acknowledged the county government's role in fulfilling that objective.
Work very, very closely with them going forward through the coordination of the COG Secretariat, so that there is better sensitization of the need to honor heroes in all our 47 counties.
Furthermore, a memorandum of understanding will be reached to champion the establishment of modern monuments, naming of parks and roads after national heroes and heroines in their respective counties.
Best way to create visibility and public knowledge of what we do is how we should work together. The other key thing is that the Act provides that we work with the governors in different areas.
And what we're also encouraging the council is to look at the broader aspect of heroism in line with what county governments do. Because in this country we feel the actual work is done in the counties. But the people who hog the limelight are those at the national level.
Let's now take you to the counties. Women of the Ma community from El Pole, Laikipia North, are proud of the progress they have made in improving their lives.
These women have formed groups through which they have started different projects and finally have begun to reap the rewards of their hard work.
This and more in our county news roundup.
While at their farm in Twala, during a meeting to share their profits they earned from various businesses such as bead sewing, beekeeping, and tourism, these women termed this virtue a significant step for them, since traditionally they had relied on their husbands to sustain them financially.
The Maasai women are able to manage natural resources and just to be leaders like any other women in the world. So the word Twala means a bell. So we are saying the bell is ringing, women wake up. The name is a Maasai name means together. So we are saying together we can go far.
Elsewhere, Nakuru County Government is operationalizing its own marketing and tourism board with the aim of enhancing tourism, boosting conservation efforts, and driving local economic growth.
We have to ensure that we instill that culture ya kusafisha mazingira and environment conservation from young age, hata kutoka watoto wa primary mpaka sisi wenye tuko hivi wakubwa, upate mtoto akikuwa mkubwa ako responsible na pia wanajua kupanda miti na kutunza.
Finally, the State Department of Public Service, led by PS Amos Gathecha, spearheaded planting of 100,000 trees at Chepalungu Forest. The exercise presided over by Gathecha on behalf of the head of public service, Felix Kosgei, benefited from the collaboration between the local community and learners from neighboring schools and TVET.
We still have a lot of work to do. Na kwa hivyo gavana, tutarudi mara mingi. We'll come back na tuhakikisha ya kwamba miti imejaa hapa. Na hii ni kufuatilia mwito wa His Excellency the President ya watu kupanda miti bilioni 15.
From the counties and further afield, Pope Leo XIV has held his first press conference with international media after his first Sunday address at the Vatican.
The Pope demanded the release of imprisoned journalists in the first news conference of his pontificate.
While addressing the world's media in the Vatican City, the Pope reiterated the Church's solidarity with them for seeking the truth, terming free press as a precious gift. The
The Pope called for its safeguarding as well. The Pontiff had, at a Sunday Mass, called for an end to conflicts in Ukraine and Gaza.
Educazione capace di ascolto, di raccogliere la voce dei deboli che non hanno voce. Disarmiamo le parole. Una comunicazione disarmata e disarmante ci permette di condividere uno sguardo diverso sul mondo.
Well, that story brings us to our second break right here on Prime Edition.
And we do appreciate your feedback on our social media platforms on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Stay with us when we return. Betty Kiptum is already in the studio with us, as well as DW will be in with the sports.
Fondly referred to as the Homes.
Je, umewahi kuwa na deni ya KRA? Basi, usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC wamekuandalia roadshow murwa kabisa. Jiunge nasi tukufahamishe kuhusu KRA Tax Amnesty Program na jinsi utakavyoweza kusamehewa adhabu na riba na KRA. Pia, tutakuwa tunakusaidia kujaza fomu za kodi za mwaka 2024 na kukusaidia na huduma za KRA kwa mtaa wako. Jumanne tarehe 13 mwezi Mei, tutakuwa maeneo ya Chuka, Chogoria, Mkobo, Kariene, Gitimbine, Meru Town, Makutano, Kirwa, Mtugi, Subuiga, Timau, Meru Town. Jumatano tarehe 14 mwezi Mei, tutazuru maeneo ya Meru Town, Makutano, Nchiri, Kianjai, Muriri, Mudhara, Kangeta, Mturuba, Matwate na kutamatisha Maua Town. KRA, tulipe ushuru tujitegemee.
You know where I am. Just tell Dad. What do you mean he's complaining?
Madam, nini inafanyika hapa? Kutoka mzee akufa. Hata mshahara sijapata.
Mbugua, calm down. You thought I wouldn't know you're having an affair, right?
What?
What haven't I done, Pete?
Kutuhamisha ama.
This is something that we cannot discuss it right now.
You still think I'm a child?
Excuse me, umebadilika. Kutembea na Felix.
Thank you for staying with Prime Edition. Time for the latest in the world of business. I am Betty Kiptum. The government is prioritizing investments in technology to enhance competitiveness of Kenyan products in the global marketplace. President William Ruto, while officially opening the 2025 EU-Kenya Business Forum, noted that these will help unlock innovations that foster inclusive wealth creation and creates opportunities that benefit every Kenyan, while strengthening mutually beneficial partnerships.
As of 2023, trade between Kenya and the European Union reached a total value of 430 billion shillings, marking a 16% increase from 2018. This makes the EU Kenya's second largest trading partner and its most significant export market. Following the implementation of the EU-Kenya Economic Partnership Agreement, Kenyan exporters have benefited from greater certainty and stability of their goods in the EU, creating opportunities for business success in both Kenya and the European Union. To further cement the nation's trade ties, the government says it is leveraging digital technologies as drivers of inclusive growth, sustainable trade, and stronger connectivity.
Through digitization, we unlock innovation, catalyze industrialization, and create seamless access to markets, information, and networks for mutual benefit of Kenya and the European Union.
We have a huge opportunity arising from the number of young people who are trained in that space and the fiber optic that the government has laid all over the country. It is possible for a young person to be working from Nakuru or Mombasa for a company in Europe.
The head of state further called for the formation of strategic partnerships to address current and emerging barriers aimed at unlocking the vast potential of Kenya-EU trade.
We remain committed to implementing a pro-trade policy regime that not only foster inclusive wealth creation, but also generate much-needed opportunities.
Kenya is now host to the first ever European Chamber of Commerce, which seeks to advocate for an improved business and investment climate and to promote increased trade and investment between the EU and Kenya.
From the business leaders who are gathered here in this room, who just want to tap into this potential and make sure when we see each other next time that these percentages would be higher, investment would grow, and trade would be bigger than we have seen it today.
Following Kenya's historic partnership with the European Union, entrepreneurs have been encouraged to leverage the digital transformation in order to commercialize the products beyond the Kenyan market. Reporting for Prime Edition, my name is Nduta Mokami.
Thank you, Nduta, for that report, and we do apologize for the technical hitch at the beginning of that story. Now, this year's budget is set to be presented on the 12th of next month, which is exactly a month from today. As a countdown to the budget, we will be unpacking the budget for you and explaining to you the things in the budget that are close to you and the impact they are likely to have on you. In this episode, we explain why the cost of animal feed is likely to reduce following a proposal to exempt from tax its raw materials. Here is Ben Rioba with that report.
In the draft 2025-2026 budget, the National Treasury has proposed to tax-exempt raw materials for making animal feed. Under the law, a tax exemption is a provision that excuses some products, income, taxpayers, or transactions from the burden of taxation. This means that the exempted items are not subjected to tax, thus reducing the overall tax liability. Therefore, if the raw materials used for making animal feed are exempted from tax, it means the overall cost of production will reduce. Hence, holding all factors constant, the retail price of animal feed will be cheaper.
What this will do is that we will be able to provide a sustainable pricing for feed even when there is a crisis, because the minister can act just in time to respond to a need in the industry. So meaning we can maintain a price that is stable.
What is likely to further make the retail price of animal feed cheaper is a proposed allocation of 3.9 billion shillings in the draft 2025-2026 budget policy statement for livestock subsector, which will mainly go towards livestock support system that will include strengthening livestock feeds value chain and covering import costs.
We would like more resources spent on research and development for new ingredients that we can use in animal feed.
Therefore, the overall target is to reduce the cost of production by ensuring that the retail price of animal feed is reduced in order to boost production, make Kenyan livestock products competitive, and encourage more to venture into livestock production.
If we could only allow soybean to be imported, it will promote that sector for seed oil crushing, and also will also be able to get benefit as feed millers from the residue.
Benson Rioba.
Now, President William Ruto has dissolved the boards of 3 major state-owned sugar companies, including Chemelil, South Nyanza and Mboya sugar companies. In a special issue of the Kenya Gazette notice that is published Monday today, President Ruto terminated the tenures of the sugar companies' chairpersons, including Engineer John Nyambok of Chemelil Sugar Company, Jared Odhiambo Opio of South Nyanza Sugar Company, and Alfred Kangati of Mboya Sugar Company, all with immediate effect. In the same Gazette notice, appointments of 19 board members from the same sugar companies were revoked.
In a move to rejuvenate Kenya's struggling sugar industry, President William Ruto has dismissed the chairpersons of 3 major state-owned sugar companies and dissolved their boards. The move, announced through a special issue of the Kenya Gazette published on Monday, terminated the tenures of Engineer John Nyambok of Chemelil Sugar Company, Jared Odhiambo Opio of South Nyanza Sugar Company, and Alfred Kangati of Mboya Sugar Company, all with immediate effect. At the same time, Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe revoked the appointments of 19 board members from the same companies, among them Silas Jakakimba, Catherine Wanjala Wangamati, and Elizabeth Mudukiza Iminza. The affected companies, Chemelil, South Nyanza and Mboya Sugar, are among 5 state-owned mills earmarked for a 30-year term leasing, an initiative aimed at attracting private sector investment to modernize operations and enhance efficiency and to improve profitability. According to the government, the leasing model is designed to avoid full privatization by ensuring that the government retains ownership while granting leases operational control for the lease duration. Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition.
And the European Investment Bank's development arm, that is EIB Global, and Kenya-based Family Bank are mobilizing 14.7 billion Kenyan shillings to finance micro, small and medium enterprises. EIB Global is set to provide 7.3 billion shillings credit line to Family Bank, which will match the sum in an agreement to expand loans for Kenyan MSMEs.
Small and medium enterprises represent over 80% of financial institutions' customer base. As a result of this, the market revenue from this segment continues to increase, underscoring the sector's strong growth potential. The European Investment Bank's development arm, EIB Global, and Kenya-based Family Bank are mobilizing 14.7 billion Kenyan shillings to finance micro, small and medium enterprises. The financing accord was announced during the second edition of the European Union Kenya Business Forum in Nairobi, which seeks to bolster the working capital and investments of Kenyan SMEs and mid-caps, mainly in the trade and agriculture sectors.
The majority of the employees are actually employed by SMEs, so it couldn't have come at a better time. And as I've said, we've just done our 2025-2029 strategy, which is focusing on strengthening and deepening SMEs in this country.
At least 50% of the financing will target businesses owned or run by women, while a further minimum of 30% will be extended to youth enterprises.
And it will mobilize a combined 100 million euros worth of financing towards SMEs and mid-caps active in trade and agriculture sector, with a particular focus on youth and gender investment.
In addition, EIB Global will provide Family Bank with technical assistance to enhance its gender strategy and product offering. Frederick Muki for Prime Edition.
And the government has started a mapping exercise that will create an electronic register for industries. The geo-mapping of industries is part of the process of manufacturing policy formulation, which is intended to open up industries for targeted interventions and investments.
The manufacturing sector grew by 2.8% in 2024, from 2.2% in 2023, contributing 7.3% to the GDP. To improve liquidity in the manufacturing sector that saw credit advanced by commercial lenders decrease to 560 billion shillings in 2024, from 563 in 2023, the government has started mapping all industries in the country. The mapping exercise that has started in Nairobi County will see all industries registered for creation